Do not summon for Cipher, gamers, because in today's video, I'll be going over all the reasons on why you should not be pulling for Cipher, and all of the reasons why I think she might be bad and dog shit for your account. So guys, just hopping into it here, these are the three main topics we're talking about today. Not free-to-play friendly, jack of all trade, masters of none, and then 3.4 is just better. But let's go ahead and start off with the first category, which is not free-to-play friendly. Now, on first glance, Cipher does look like a really free-to-play friendly character, but I think it's all kind of a pump fake, because I also thought the same thing. I thought she was super free-to-play friendly, but then I looked at her kit more and how she interacts with other characters, and honestly, it kind of made me realize that she's not really that free-to-play friendly. Let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. First of all, her stats are a pump fake, because if you look at her kit, the majority of her damage is coming from her ultimate move, proccing off true damage that's going to be accumulating over time from her talent here. So literally, you're going to be taking a tally of the rest of the team doing damage, and she'll be doing that tally damage to the enemy, and the majority of that damage is coming from, like I said, true damage. Her multipliers are not all too high for her ultimate move right here, right? It is literally just 105% here, and then everything else is going to be coming with the ultimate move, right? And the reason why I say the stats are kind of a pump fake is if you look at some of her bonus abilities here, guys, first of all, whenever her speed's 140 or 170, she gets a free crit rate increase, which is really nice, right? And then on the A6 over here, guys, whenever you're using a follow-up attack, its crit damage is going to be increased by 100% as well. So, like, that is, like, a lot of free stats. So you're coming into battle off rip with 150% free crit damage to your follow-up attacks, and then 50% crit rate for absolutely free against basically every single scenario. But you have to keep in mind, none of these free stats factor in to the amount of damage she's really doing with her ult. Like, you completely neglect this 100 crit damage when you're talking about the ult, and crit rate doesn't play into a true damage either, because true damage is literally just the true damage you're doing. It doesn't calculate crit or anything like that into the equation. Not for her damage specifically, it matters for your other allies, but not for her, right? Now, the one big thing here is this damage vulnerability. This makes enemies take more damage, which in turn gives you more damage for the true damage you're going to cause on the enemy. So that's one separating thing that she does, is like, hey, this is going to increase her true damage overall because you're able to do more damage to the enemies, versus this free crit damage you're going to get, which is like 100%, which is, looks on paper absolutely massive, and this free crit rate, which is absolutely massive, doesn't really affect the overall damage all too much. Like, her follow-ups are fine, right? But it can only be activated once per turn. It's not something that can happen multiple times. So realistically, like, you're not doing that much follow-up on the enemy. Like, it's nice. It's great. It's there. I love that for her. But overall, it is literally just a pump fake in my opinion, because the only thing that really benefits the team in doing more damage, which makes her deal more damage, is the vulnerability that she has. Another pump fake with this as well, guys, future-proof damage. Now, you might think, well, she has future-proof damage because the more damage you deal to enemies, the more damage she can do. And the more power creep you have in the game, that means the more damage our allies are going to do, which means the more damage she does, right? Yes, you're absolutely right on that. The more damage your team does, the more damage she's going to do. But what investment cost is that to make her deal this damage? First of all, I do think this is an inherent flaw with her kit. Secondly, I do think that this, in turn, makes you have to pull for the latest characters coming out, right? So while, yes, on paper, it seems very free-to-play friendly because, oh, she scales with new characters, this means you have to pull the new characters for her to get better. That means you have to pull new DPS that work with her, keep that in mind, to get better, or you have to invest even higher amounts into your other characters for her to get better as well. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about now, guys. Number two, she relies on a huge and consistent team damage, meaning she needs the team around her to be dealing massive and consistent damage, so you're able to consistently activate her ult, which means you're consistently able to do her big damage proc off from her tally damage. And with that being said, guys, let's hop into point A here with that. The more HP power creep, the worse she gets. The reason I say she gets worse with this is because the more HP they have, if you have not pulled those newest characters that work well with her, even though they were doing great damage before, the HP scaling is up higher now, and you're doing the same amount of damage to the enemy, but the HP bar is larger, therefore it's taking longer to kill the enemy. That's why, in a way, she does get worse with the more HP power creep you have in the game. If you do not have consistent and high damaging DPS to keep up with the power creep, she will get worse. And honestly, with the current trend, HSRs going in, Phynon coming out, I'm just gonna say it's kind of cooked, gamers, just kind of cooked. And then finally, guys, for this point here, she needs extra pull investment to be good on her own. You really do need things like her S1 and E1 to even kind of work on her own, because you get more tally damage up that way. And the more you can tally up her damage, it means the more damage she can just overall get out, which makes her better on her own. Also with her S1 as well, S1 is just really strong for every type of Nihility character. But with her, it gives you more defense shred and more speed, makes her a lot faster, so she's doing turns a lot more frequently, which overall leads to more damage. So the overall point I'm trying to make here, guys, is while yes, she looks free-to-play friendly on paper, I really don't think she's that free-to-play friendly. You need a lot of investment to make her work. I do think in this sense, she's more of a character to pull for if you're a whale or if you're a dolphin and spending money on the game, because if you're a free-to-play Andy, I just don't think she works well for you. There's a couple aspects that do, but for the most part, not really there. Let's hop into point number 2 though, guys, is jack of all trades, master of none. Hopping into point number 1, debuffs. We're gonna go ahead and talk about all of her debuffs right now because she actually does have a lot of debuffs. First of all, guys, she does a vulnerability debuff, which is AO. It gives you 40%, which is absolutely massive, but it's always going to be on, meaning it doesn't make her good for characters like Acheron. We'll talk more about her synergies and stuff where she's lacking in a little bit later in the video, but it's always on, meaning it can be good for someone like Dr. Ratio, which is a really outdated character at this point, but really good for characters like that. If we get new characters like that in the future, she'll be really good there. Number 2, decrease all damage dealt. Now, this is kind of bad because it's only 10%. It's not really decreasing the damage dealt by that much, and then also it needs a skill to activate this. That means she's more SP inefficient whenever you're activating this move. And then finally, Patron, which is always on. This, like I said, helps out Dr. Ratio, doesn't really help out Acheron teams that much, and it's just always on. Like I said, doesn't really do anything per se to the enemy. The biggest thing here is vulnerability debuff, which is absolutely massive and can be ran just about on any team that you have. But let's go ahead and hop into the support tier really quick, guys. First of all, guys, let's just bring this whole thing down here. First of all, point A here, guys, she has great true damage if the team is consistent, meaning if the team is super consistent, she'll do great damage. If the team is not consistent, like we mentioned over here, she will not do great damage. Hopping into B now, guys. Not better than Big J on Acheron teams. Yes, Jiao Cho is better on Acheron teams than her. Who would have thought? She doesn't really proc that many debuffs off unless you were to maybe run her with like Pearls of Sweat Light Cone, then maybe she can become a little bit better, but still overall with the amount of debuffs that he puts on the enemy, you would never replace her on the team for that, right? And even in this sense right here, guys, she is still very niche in this scenario. That means you would need to have an E1 or lower Acheron, so E1 or E0 Acheron, to really make her work on the team. It doesn't really work though that well because you're running a support with Jiao Cho anyways, because Jiao Cho is still the best debuff in the game. And then also on top of that, which we'll get into, is 3.4 is just better. I think there's going to be a better debuffer in the game that will be better for Acheron on those teams. And like I said, this kind of adds on to it. Really needs Pearls or Stake to even work here. This enhances her damage and enhances the amount of debuff she can put on enemy. So she really does need that extra investment to really make it work there. And Face Out, I feel like on a Face Out team, Topaz genuinely offers more value and more frequent attacks, which charge up your Face Out better than what a Cipher can provide here. Now, I'm not saying that she's not going to be better in the future for a team like a follow-up team, but as of right now, Topaz offers a 50% follow-up damage vulnerability, which is higher off rip than the 40% damage vulnerability that we're already giving to the enemy from her right here, right? Now, I get that this attaches to every single target, but if you're running on a Face Out team and most follow-up teams, you're only targeting one enemy regardless. So for me, it's still not even best in slot here. Like, the true damage and everything is great and all, but you still get more consistent follow-ups off with someone like Topaz, which leads to more ult times that you can use with your Face Out. So to kind of circle this all off here, guys, debuffs, she has. Damage, she has. Support ability on teams, she has. She's just not the best at any of those roles. She's like the 5-star Goliath, actually. Yeah. 5-star Goliath right here, guys. Anyways, on to our final category, which is 3.4 is better, guys, and we're just going to go ahead and get this off the rip here. Finon, Saber, and buffs coming to the game, guys. All three of these things play into a reason why you shouldn't be pulling for it, guys. Finon's the final boss of DPS. This guy right here, I'm not going to talk about leaks right now, but this guy right here is the final boss of a main DPS. You become the final boss when he is on the team, okay? He is going to be the Miyabi of Honkai Star Rail, okay? He is going to power creep all of our main DPS right now. And also, in terms of her sub DPS and support capabilities, she has no room on this team, practically at all, right? Number 2, Saber. She practically has no use on this team either, but besides that, guys, Saber is a solid top tier DPS that gives a lot of free stats without being pump faked. Like, think of what she gets, what we talked about here, right? With all the free crit rate, crit damage, and shit like that that she gets. Saber gets that, but it's not wasted like it is on Cipher, I feel like. So there's that. And then finally, buffs coming to the game. We are getting so many buffs coming to the game with a lot of these like older 5-star characters that one's bound to be better. Silverwolf, probably going to be better on those Acheron teams for people that have low investment teams, or like those E0, E1 teams with Acheron, right? So I feel like she's already kind of pump faked in that department as well. Like, I feel like 3.4 is just better. And to be completely honest with you guys, I was the biggest glazer of Cipher when she first got released and first got announced, and we saw the original leaks and stuff like that. I was like, dude, she's going to be amazing. But she is literally just a pump fake, I feel like. Like, she's not bad. She's definitely not on the broken levels of some characters we've got, though. So that's what I'm saying, guys. I really don't think that she'd be that good in your account right now. I really think you should wait for a rerun, considering how many reruns they're doing right now and how fast they're doing reruns, I guess you could say. I feel like she might be better in the future, but there's no way for me to like definitively say that right now. Obviously, she gets better over time with the true damage scaling and like her tally damage and stuff like that, but overall, I don't think you should pull Cipher. I don't think Cypher's really worth it for your account. I think there's very niche scenarios if you spend a lot in the game and like you have like a whale that account or a dolphin that account, maybe she's good for you, right? I just feel like for the average free-to-play player she's not that good. Maybe for a new player she's good because she's a jack of all trades, but just overall, I don't feel like she brings all that much value to your account. Like you have to be in two separate niches of the game to really get great benefit for her. If you're not a completely new player or a player that spends a lot of money on the game that's playing for a while, I don't think that she really benefits your account all too much. And even in that beginner scenario when you're first starting the game, just wait for 3.4 regardless. You're going to get a banger DPS, the best DPS in the game. So I can't really recommend a pull for her, but that's me, guys. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. This video will get a lot of hate because she is a cat girl, and we love our waifus. And for some reason, the Honkai style role community is becoming like the Genshin community. So I guess you can't have your shit and eat it too, or maybe you can. Bye, guys. See you later. Subscribe to the channel.